Right, we're going to follow up from our previous solo pad training. This is the second part. In this part, we're going to look at the use of 2 pads for the solo person, as well as 1 pad drills. We're also going to look at environmental differences, such as working from a seated position, maybe seated in front of the table, somebody across from you, on the ground, on the back, in the mount, all these kind of things. Before we do that, we're just going to look at some combinations picking up from where we were before. So what we looked at in the beginning was the use of 1 pad. So in terms of focus pad, small one about the size of your face is best, but there is a trade-off. Quite often they're quite thin and you can damage your hands. I fractured my hand with an elbow the first time I did this. So pads of more substance and thickness would be best. The best idea would be something this thick, this size. But you get the fucking idea, right? From here, we will always work targeted head height, working off the idea that we've already preempted and now we've attached. Well, you can plug that in. We usually start here and can go arm, hammer, elbow, and do our thing. Or you can just keep your fence up here, present the target, preempt, there's your attachment. And then from here I'm into this and do the thing. This is what we looked at in the first one. Now we want to start working 2 pads. And what I want to bring in is more ECQ type of work, more methods of training principles inside of this and training secondary tools. So when you train your palm and your wrist and your elbow and your knee, you're working primary weapons. But from here I want to start looking at ballistic manipulation. So combatively taking the neck in the clinch, popping it out from here to raise and chamber for an elbow, burying the shot and following with the knee, so you hit it on high and low. That's one example. Another example of ballistic manipulation would be I might clinch from here and grab to chin rib, pull round and now start hammering the target that it presents itself. Commonality is we're going from ECQ where the gap has been crashed back to close quarters so we can get to primary weapons where now you've built the gap. So there's a principle in itself. Crashing the gap, building the gap. Shutting the structure down, building it back up to create range to hit. Hitting on a half beat or a stars beat, so the double tap. Hitting high and low. All principles are present in such you to identify them. As we go through, I'll mention them. But first, I'm just going to give you something basic. So I'm going to give you your first 2 pad drill, which will be very simple, and he's going to give you the second one. First one will incorporate a combative clinch. And anybody that knows our work knows that we do this very concussively. Basically, you're just going to take a tight clinch on the back of the subject's head, who's right in front of you. How you take that's important. So I'm going to take it ballistically here, and then pull him in ballistically here. So there'd be like 3 distinct shots from a gun. It's almost just like bam, bam, here, bam, 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 bam. In reality, from here, I want to take this hand somewhere here, and this arm somewhere here. So build 1, 2, and then 3. So I can combatively pull him in. So how we replicate that on the pads is like this. Got fence structure up. I want to reiterate the point of it's putting your brain inside of this. You have to emotionally attach. So internal visualization. So I like to keep my eyes half closed and I'll visualize the subjects in front of me. I'm going to grab him here, ballistically grab them. It's no different to me. You want to create that. You also want to create in your head the potential feelings that you might feel if it was necessary for you to grab a guy by the head and now slash him with an elbow, knee him in the groin and then put him on the floor. So you concussively rattled his brain, you concussively potentially knocked him out with an elbow, and you smashed his base out, knocking the wind out of him, putting him on the floor so he's no longer ambulatory. If you were required to do that to somebody for real, you'd be under high threat. And if you were under such high threat, you'd be under high stress. So this environment, comfortable, training with a pad, warm, confined partners, it's no stress. You have to immerse. So if you're solo pad training, you have to use the greatest training resource they have, which is the virtual reality simulator between your ears. So I visualise from here that I've had to contact manage this individual. I've got somebody who won't let me, he's stepped in front, he's getting agitated, and he's exhibiting a pre-threat cue that's making me fucking nervous. So So I'd be kind of ready and prepared, and then I recognise from the pre-threat cue that I have to operate, and from this point I would access state and blitz the fucker. In my brain, I'm not hitting pads, I'm hitting people, as I said before, so you want to do it that way. First count, what you're going to do from here is literally just ballistic and clinch. So I'll take half a step, clinch, him in and pull to my chest. From here I would pop his head up into the path of my elbow. So what you'll notice from here, if I've got him held, right here I can't elbow. I crash this gap down, but now I have to build the gap, making distance between us in order to hit it. It's much more efficient for me if I do that ballistically. So I could hurt him by gouging his eye to get the trajectory for the elbow. I could hurt him just by shoulder popping him out to get the trajectory for the elbow. Or in this case, I'm going to use the inside bicep and pop his head. So from here, I pull him in to a clinch. Now I'm using the inside bicep here, his structure off, pop to lift his head up, which then chambers this elbow. And as I throw this elbow, I'm then ballistically neck into the path of it. Right, so I'm using incidental strike, concussive double taps on a high line before I go to the low line. So here's your drill. First step, push. From here you want the shoulder pop. So to get the shoulder pop impactfully, you place the pad here as if that's the side of his neck. Then from this closed configured position, I'm just going to pop the inside of my bicep as I turn my hip, much the same way as if I was trying to slap or a hook, turning this foot. It's going to be powered from my hip. From here, this chambers the target for the elbow, and then I turn it and bury it in. So first count, pull, pop, hit, pull, pop, hit. From here, pursuing the trajectory, take the pad to the back of your other pad, down onto the knee. This does not replicate that I am pulling him in, popping him out and elbowing him, and then grabbing his head and kneeing it. And then this is sport. I want to try and jump up to knee it. All I'm doing is coming over with the elbow, and back down with the knee. So this motion is like a windscreen wiper. If you like, it's an angle 1, then the neck down or the grab part, which again would be ballistic, is an angle 2. It's just over, down. So from here I'll go with the elbow, and as I neck him down here, I'll pull it into the knee for the groin. So the actual application is pull here, pop, elbow, boom, knee. That's what I'm doing. Plus we've got pads on. You have to need the pads because the whole point is impact cultivation. Don't get caught up in after this elbow, I'm taking the head and in the face. I'm not. I'm pulling this body forward and I'm kneeing the low line. So to recap, to my count, first combatively cruise. Now you're going to pop. Now you're going to elbow. Now you're going to knee. Let's put together. So we're going to pull and pop. Pull and pop. Then elbow knee. Whole thing together. This is our first 2-pad solo drill for this video.
In this second solo pad drill, what we're looking at is the chin ring. So what we're doing first is ballistically grabbing the head like we did in the first one. So I grab the head, pull it into my shoulder. From here I'm looking at reaching round to grab either the chin, the nose or the eye. But the way we do that is ballistically, so we want to make every shot count. So rather than just reaching round and grabbing, I want to make sure that I get some incidental strikes in. So the first incidental strike after we grab the head is that I hit the head with my bicep, okay? But it's not just my bicep, it's my whole body. I make sure that I get all this hip torque into this strike. So, first thing we do, grab the head. I present the side of the pad which represents the side of his head. From here, I'm turning and hitting with my bicep. From here, the impact there, you should feel that impact. From there, the second part, this hand's loose and this will slap round to the face. There's a pattern interrupt, okay? So he's got two shots to the head before he's gone to grab anything. From here I grab, like I said, either the chin, the nose, the eye, anything I can grab onto to now turn his body. So I'm turning. And as I turn, this leg will move back, opening the gate, which will present the head. Now, what we find is if Lee does this on me, because I'm a lot taller, he'll generally just take me straight off my feet and I'm on the floor. But sometimes people will just spin on the spot and there'll be a need to continue. So we'll just take it from that example. You're here, the head's now here, now you're looking at continuing with whatever follow-up until the man is down. Okay? So remember, you need to use your visualization. There's so many variables to this stuff. You can take it to the wall, you can keep them standing, keep them on the floor, it's up to you. But the way this looks, first count is the clinch, so 1. Second is this. You should hear it's like a cadence, 1, 2. So 1, 2. 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. From here, turn with your whole body, opening the gate, present the head, follow up until the man's down, maybe stop, tactically disengage. So one more time. 1, 2, 3. The full thing.
The skill set that we're looking at is the chin grip. Chin grip is a ballistic manipulation of the head. It can be employed with a lot of control, keeping the body tight, turning the head and shoulders as a unit, just to take somebody down for control. Or it could be employed much more ballistically, right up to the point where, for a military context, you could strike and literally rotate the head. Just corkscrew it off the shoulders. Here we're looking for a middle line response. I'm going to enter ballistically, but I'm going to turn the head with control. Now, if he was taller than me, I wouldn't enter with this movement necessarily from a clinch. I could, but I'd want to create a stimuli that would bring him forward. So if we were on the same plane, or if it was Jamie doing it to me, he could simply clinch me in, boom, and then chin it from there, trying the incidental shot that you talked about, because my head's on the chest plane. But he's a clear head taller than me. So I could do this and then try to reach for it, but I would rather create a stimulus low. So one way in which I could do that is I could just flank and hit the groin to bring him forward. Now I have this big incidental shot coming into here, and I'll take the chin from here. But because we're working with the theme of crushing the gap down, I am going to clinch. So what I would do is I clinched him because I would simultaneously move knee to the low line, which will bring his chest now to my head. And here I'll throw this one over here, and probably hit here as I did. So boom, here, taking the chin ledge. I'll let the hand loosely slap basically and whip into the face. From here I'll turn the structure around, which will put him in a position where I can strike, follow up, and take him down to the ground. Or, if there's an environment, I'll work from here, where I'll just ballistically do this, I'll take the head, into the wall, boom, boom, bang, finish. So this is the application of the trim rig. Look at the principles and the secondary weapons to primary weapons involved. I'm concussively shutting him down or crashing the gap on him with a clinch. Inside of that, I'm using half-beat incidental strikes with the principle. As I attack high, I immediately knee low. But there you can still replicate that by bringing the pad to your knee, or when Jamie goes to show you, you might omit the knee. But the point is, principles involved. Concussively crashing the gap with incidental half-beat strikes, hitting high and then low, then going straight into ballistic manipulation, secondary tool, and use of the environment, secondary tool, back now to primary weapons to finish the job. So this is the application of this pad drill.
So I'm going to do one now at full speed away from the wall, one where the man's taller, and another one against the wall. It's the same thing, just in a different environment. Right, mate, fucking right, just calm down, mate, just fucking calm down, look.
Calm down.
Alright, mate,
Calm down.